Hello critics, this is RatedT.S.M. And yes, this is a BTS shirt, but don't put anything K-pop or even Korea related in the comments because this video has nothing to do with any of those things. So, this is episode 9 of Campus Life, and I will be talking all about partying, drinking, clubs, and activities. I did no partying on campus. I was invited to parties, but I did no partying, and I did no drinking. And I think the invites to the parties were more like joking things, but I'm a pretty serious person, so humor is not really my thing. So when people joke around with me, I don't know. I'm not that aware. I mean, I am sometimes, but I'm just not that aware because I'm just not into humor. I have a very dry sense of humor. Now, if you want to do any of those things, you can go right ahead and do them, but be mindful of your liver and kidneys because they do love you, they are working hard for you, and you don't want to ruin them before you're even of age to drink. So when I go to Canada and South Korea, I will not be drinking probably at all, maybe one sip of something, but I'm just not into the drinking culture of any place. It has never sparked an interest in me. Even if people invite me out for drinks, I'll probably just have the alcohol sitting there and they can pay for it because I sure as heck am not interested in even buying it for myself, let alone, somebody else or whatever. Now, when it comes to clubs and activities, there's a huge difference between clubs and activities in high school and in college. When it comes to high school, you probably may have gotten away with joining no clubs and activities. Now, if you wanted to go to the Ivy League, well, that's probably why you didn't get in, if you didn't know clubs and activities. However, that's not to say that, clubs and activities are essentially crucial to your life and that you have to even do them in college. But college is way, way different. And when you're in college, it is highly recommended by me and probably lots of other people that you join something if you did nothing in high school especially. See, when it comes to high school is not quite as big of a deal. So you're not really doing that much, or maybe joining one thing or not being a cabinet member just doesn't reflect too much upon you. But for me, and at least in my perspective, college is all about opportunities. And I am an opportunist personally. When it comes to wanting things and seeking out things, I just try to do everything I can initially. And I am past that stage. I guess I left that stage pretty quickly on in college. But while I was in college, I tried to join everything at first. And not because I really wanted to be a part of all these clubs, but it was mainly because I wanted to try out as many things as I possibly could and see what was best for me personally. And I was able to narrow down my whole entire list a lot. Not only that, I tried to seek out opportunities in as many places as I could, like volunteer work, for instance. And sometimes you can actually, if you're in the right place at the right time, somebody might recommend that you do something that you might have never heard of otherwise. For instance, how I mentioned a couple of times that I help international students learn English. If I didn't meet this woman at this event in the Chinese club was having last year, then I would have never found out about that volunteer service. And for me, I see it as being this. Okay, so I heard about it. Now, as soon as possible, what I need to do is I need to email her and say to her, hey, I'm ready and willing to be paired up with a person to go help English. I filled out this little form, blah, blah, blah. I kept in contact with all these people. I got, I think, 4 different people this past year. 4 different people this past school year. And it was great. And I do need to hop on the stick as to emailing her. So I'll probably have to do that no later than tomorrow so that I can get back into doing that again as soon as possible. And when it comes to clubs, now, I'm not saying that you have to be cabinet members of clubs. Being a part of a club is okay, but I think being a cabinet member of a club is much better if you can be, because when it comes to clubs, and that you like, okay, if you're not the leader type, you don't have to be a leader, but helping out with the club in some way looks really great on your resume. For instance, like I told you guys that I'm going to be cabinet members of 4 different clubs. Now, some people might say, well, that's too much. Like, or like, what? Do I seriously have to be cabinet members of that many clubs? No, you don't. And it all depends on how much you can handle personally, whether or not that would even be a good idea for you. That being said, I do think that for me, you know, being cabinet member of all these clubs is great for me personally because I am a history major and they're all cultural clubs. So, being that history is all about culture, among other things, it makes sense for me to do something like that. And like I said, I'm an opportunist. See, for one club, I only went to one event with one of my friends, but then I heard that they were looking for a secretary, and I figured, well, ding, 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 this is a cultural club. I should actually be the secretary, and I should try to get as involved as I can. For instance, tomorrow I'm going to be volunteering at the International Student Orientation, which, had I not been decided to be the secretary for the International Student Association, I would have never heard about this volunteering. And yes, I do have to get up at probably about 4 to 4:30 in the morning so that I can get to Westchester by 7:26, so that I can also make sure I go to the right place, because I don't actually know, even at the last minute, where this place is. But, you know, I think college is all about opportunities, and even if you aren't a cabinet member, you need to seek out as many opportunities as you can, because obviously in high school, your high school is only so big. I mean, my high school was about 2,500 students, and yes, there are a lot of clubs. Yes, there's a great, huge student body. That being said, there's only so many opportunities that can be held, whereas at my college with about 18,000 students, there's a lot more opportunities. Now, that's not to say that you're going to get all the opportunities that come by, or that all the opportunities that pass by, you need to take them, or that they're even right for you. You really need to consider what opportunities you decide to take with regards to clubs and activities and whatnot, but try to take them as much as you can, but in whatever way that they can possibly benefit you. Because when you go out to get a job, and they ask you, oh, wow, like, so I see that you've done all this stuff in college, and then maybe your job is trying to foster has a very diverse environment, and obviously they want to keep that going, and they want to hire people who are trying to also foster and uphold a very diverse, communal, warm and welcoming environment. And you could say, oh, well, I helped international students learn English, and I also was the president or secretary of the International Student Association. Not only that, I also volunteered at the International Student Orientation. So all of that was really great. All of that was fantastic, in fact. Not only that, I went and studied abroad and taught myself the language of the place that I studied abroad in. So that shows that, one, that you're very open-minded, at least the way I see it. That shows that you're very open-minded. You're very accepting and welcoming of other people. You're probably patient and understanding, because obviously teaching someone to speak English or helping them with their English is not easy at all, and it can be, if you're not a patient person, very stressful and probably tedious. I am a patient person, especially after working at Chipotle for 6 months. It definitely teaches you patience dealing with customers, and I don't get upset or angry at customers who are rude to me or even lie to me about things and whatnot. So yes, when it comes to college clubs, activities, and whatnot, you really need to go out and seek those opportunities, because in high school, you may not really care. I mean, I kind of did the same thing in terms of trying to find as many clubs as possible, and I was a cabinet member of a club, and I was the president of the origami club. I'm not saying that you have to be cabinet member even in college, but you need to find as many opportunities as you can and make use of them. Don't just sit back on your lazy and do nothing, because again, college is all about the opportunities that you find, that you take, and what you make of them, and how they stand out and look on your resume. So that is all I have for this episode. Come back next Tuesday for the finale of my college mini-series, Campus Life. That will be my apartment tour, officially showing you guys around what it looks like. The only thing I'm not going to show you, obviously, are my apartment mates' rooms, because we all have keys to our rooms, and that'd be creepy. Unless they're there, I might knock on the door and show them to you guys, but I don't know when I'm going to do it exactly that Tuesday, or if I even have time to do it Monday, because again, I take 6 classes on Monday and Wednesday, and Tuesday and Thursday I have none. So, you know, you get what you get, pretty much.